controversial. From billion-dollar lawsuits and cultural appropriation to animal rights violations and jaw-dropping secrets hidden behind gold-plated facades, these brands are far more than just high fashion. They're lightning rods for scandal and symbols of power. Today, we are peeling back the velvet curtain to reveal the truth behind the world's most controversial luxury brands. Stay until the end, because the most shocking brand might be the one you've worn without even realizing the controversy it hides. Segment 1: Gucci. Culture and controversy. We begin with Gucci, synonymous with glamour and influence. But in 2018, the fashion world gasped when Gucci released a wool balaclava jumper resembling blackface. The backlash was immediate. Critics accused the brand of being racially insensitive. Gucci pulled the product, issued an apology, and launched initiatives promoting inclusion. But was it too little, too late? Let's rewind. Gucci has a long and colorful history. It was founded in 1921 by Guccio Gucci in Florence, Italy. From the mafia-like family drama that inspired House of Gucci, to a murder that shook the fashion world, the brand has always walked the line between legacy and scandal. Under creative director Alessandro Michele, Gucci embraced gender fluidity, maximalism, and bold statements, but also drew criticism for using sacred religious symbols as fashion accessories. But wait until you hear what another brand did, involving real animal blood and runway theatrics. Segment 2: Alexander McQueen. Dark beauty. Darker past. Alexander McQueen was a rebel of high fashion. The enfant terrible. His runway shows were part performance art, part psychological thriller. One show even featured a model surrounded by robotic arms spraying paint across a white dress. Spectacular? Yes. But controversial? Absolutely. McQueen was known for his use of taxidermy and fur, which drew sharp criticism from animal rights activists. PETA called his work a grotesque spectacle of cruelty. And then there's the mental health angle. McQueen's tragic suicide in 2010 opened the floodgates on the immense pressures of the fashion industry. He was a genius. However, his art often flirted with the macabre, blurring the line between beauty and pain. Was it fashion? Or provocation? But the controversy does not always wear feathers and skulls. Sometimes, it comes wrapped in gold with a side of royalty. Just wait until we discuss the brand that dressed Princess Diana, and was sued for sexism. Segment 2: Alexander McQueen. Dark beauty. Darker past. Chanel. The name alone evokes sophistication, the little black dress. Chanel No. 5. But behind the elegance lies a web of uncomfortable truths. Let's start with the founder, Coco Chanel. During World War II, Chanel reportedly had ties with Nazi officers. Historians argue over the depth of her involvement, but what is undeniable is her time at the Ritz Hotel, her relationship with a German officer, and her attempt to use Nazi laws to reclaim her perfume business from Jewish co-owners. Fast forward to modern times. Under Karl Lagerfeld, Chanel was accused of cultural insensitivity and fatphobia. Lagerfeld once said, "No one wants to see curvy women on the runway." Statements like these added to the growing backlash against an industry perceived as exclusive, elitist, and disconnected. And yet, the brand remains untouchable in many circles. But should it be? Up next, the brand that got roasted by an entire country for using sacred tribal motifs in a fashion collection, and their jaw-dropping response. Segment 4: Dior. Art or appropriation? Christian Dior has been at the center of several debates regarding cultural appropriation. In 2022, the brand released a skirt nearly identical to a traditional Chinese garment called a mamianchun. Chinese netizens and scholars accused Dior of stealing heritage without acknowledgement. Dior responded with silence. The internet did not. This was not the brand's first stumble. In another campaign, they cast Johnny Depp as the face of Sauvage, placing him in a Native American-themed desert alongside tribal dancers and feathered accessories. The backlash was intense. Many viewed the ad as reductive and tone-deaf. Luxury is still struggling to respect the cultures from which it borrows. Speaking of respect, What if I told you there is a luxury brand that promoted childlike imagery in ways that many found disturbing, and it happened very recently? Segment 5: Balenciaga. When fashion crosses the line, Balenciaga, the edgy brand known for chunky sneakers and ironic couture, found itself at the center of one of the most significant luxury controversies in recent history. In 2022, the brand released a campaign featuring children holding teddy bears dressed in bondage gear. Yes, you heard that right. The internet erupted. Was it a shocking oversight? Or is it a calculated move to create controversy and buzz? Balenciaga pulled the ads and apologized. But then came another bombshell. In a separate campaign, a Supreme Court ruling on child exploitation was visible in the background. Now, critics were not just outraged, they were suspicious. Was this luxury fashion gone too far? Or was it a disturbing mirror held up to the industry's obsession with provocation? And just when you think you have heard it all, we are going to take you behind the scenes of the world's most secretive watch empire, and the shadowy tactics they use to maintain control. Segment 6: Rolex. Silence, secrecy, and control. Rolex is not just a brand, it is a symbol of status, precision, power. But behind the polished steel and gold lies a fortress of silence. Rolex is notoriously secretive. A private foundation runs it, refuses to conduct interviews, and discloses virtually no financial information. Scarcity is part of the brand, but critics say it is artificially created. Authorized dealers often have waitlists that are years long, yet the gray market is flooded with an abundance of supply. How? Some allege Rolex tightly controls production and manipulates demand. Others say dealers favor VIP clients, leaving ordinary buyers in the cold. There is no scandal involving offensive ads or tweets here. It's just an empire built on silence, exclusivity, and a touch of mystery. But before we close the vault on Rolex, we are heading into even darker territory, where fashion meets human rights abuses. Segment 7: LVMH. Profits versus people. LVMH is the world's largest luxury conglomerate, owning renowned brands such as Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Givenchy, and many others. But with great power comes great controversy. Reports have surfaced about LVMH factories employing underpaid labor in countries such as Romania and Bulgaria. Despite selling bags for thousands of dollars, workers were allegedly paid less than minimum wage. Then there is the environmental footprint. Leather tanning, excessive waste, carbon emissions from global fashion shows. LVMH says it is committed to sustainability and ethical sourcing. However, critics argue that the numbers do not lie, and behind the glossy marketing lies an industry built on imbalance. We are not done yet. One of the most controversial luxury brands did not make headlines for racism or exploitation, but for an actual conspiracy, and it remains a topic of debate today. Segment 8: Hermes. Bags, blood, and bioethics. Hermes, the creator of the elusive Birkin bag, sits atop the luxury food chain. But in 2015, it was thrust into the spotlight when a PETA investigation revealed gruesome footage from crocodile farms allegedly supplying skins to Hermes. The exposé showed reptiles confined in concrete pits, some being skinned alive. Jane Birkin, for whom the bag was named, requested that her name be removed unless the brand reforms its practices. Hermes claimed it was sourced ethically. However, the debate over exotic leather has only intensified. Is ultra-luxury worth the cost of animal suffering? Finally, the brand that might shock you the most. A brand praised by celebrities, adored by influencers, and accused of promoting damaging beauty standards across the globe. Segment 9: Victoria's Secret. Angels fall from grace. Victoria's Secret was once the gold standard of sexy. But behind the glitz of its iconic fashion show lay a toxic culture. Executives were linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Models reported harassment. The brand was accused of body shaming, exclusion, and enforcing impossible beauty ideals. Sales plummeted. Public trust shattered. The brand attempted to rebrand with a new panel of diverse spokespeople, but many say it was too little, too late. Luxury lingerie came with an invisible cost, self-esteem, safety, and societal pressure. Luxury is not just about what you wear, it is about what it represents. Power, privilege, provocation,